One line, don't go border two way. 3.5 hours.
Nostalgic, emotional,
Like it, but given a chance, I would actually watch re-release of Border over Border 2.
or even Ahan Shetty also saying Ma Shakti, just like Sunil Shetty from the film. It had to be said. Sunil Shetty's Ma Shakti is an iconic pop culture reference.
They land. That's the magic of cinema. I don't know.
Hello and welcome to India Today. I am Sanjay Ponnappa.
And this is Maruthi Acharya. Today we are here to talk about Border 2, a film with its promotional material and pre-release everybody thought
Passable film.
Yeah, something like that, but now it is marching towards 300 crore mark.
Buzz indicates that it is well on its way towards reaching a 500-600 crore mark, somewhere around what Gadar 2 was.
We didn't review it, but we thought let people watch the film and then slowly let's do a long detailed analysis about the film, especially with our honest opinions. If you've already watched the film before watching the video, we would like to know your honest thoughts about the film. How was your experience? Two types. Emotionally, how was it? In terms of filmmaking also, how did it work for you? Mention that also in the comment section below.
Fun question, where do you think the box office collection of Border 2 is going to end? Don't just comment 1000 crore just for the sake of it. Be a little creative, 572 crore, whatever. Is it going to beat Gadar 2? 670 crores, 690 crores, whatever, mention that in the comment section below. There might be spoilers in the videos.
Your experience of watching the film in one line. One line, don't go border two way. 3.5 hours.
Nostalgic, emotional, patriotic, almost like rewatching Border.
So my experience of watching Border 2 is irrespective of the chatter before and after release, Border 2 is exactly what I thought Border 2 would be. Again, not a lot of people might not like it, but given a chance, I would actually watch re-release of Border over Border 2. Moving forward, firstly, see the inherent emotion towards Indian Army, country, the struggles that army go through, strategy, war, enemies, all of that, right? It is already a very emotionally connecting thing for any patriot. Wherever there is Bharat Mata dialogues and all of that, we grew up watching. Border is a very special film for me. So I understand the emotion, and see, already when we are walking into movies like this, right, there is a pre-established emotional connect with the themes and subjects that the movie is going to discuss. But it is the job of the movie to move me emotionally beyond my emotional connect which I have with the subject in terms of filmmaking. Not a lot of films made me think that it is my emotional connect with the subject which is making me feel any of this. It's not the film. But unfortunately for me with Border 2, that is how I felt. The emotional scenes did land. It has more to do with my connect to my nation, my army, what I feel about them than the film itself, which is the unfortunate part considering the opportunity that the film has.
See, the point is that the film is undeniably entertaining in a certain fashion. Probably exactly what Gadar 2 brought to the table is what Border 2 is also bringing to the table, which is serving entertainment with a lot of, patriotism mixed with it, with a lot of, uber mass elements mixed with it, along with a familiar trope, a familiar name attached to the title. Gadar, the nostalgic value is the USP in this film, and in my opinion, what is a little different is how they've integrated more of Air Force and the Navy into the story. While Border was mostly about the Indian Army and a very little part represented by Jackie Shroff with the Air Force, Border 2 actually is they actually have significant characters representing each of the Indian defense, and these characters have a major chunk of the screen time in the film. It is not, just Sunny Deol and his battalion, while every other characters get a little segue towards having their own personal lives, like in Border, where Akshay Khanna had a background and a song, and then a little more about his story and his father. Sunil Shetty had a background and a song, and that is about it. And same with the rest of the characters. And at the end of the day, all of them have a hurrah moment at the end. But in this film, there's a lot more character being established. There's a lot more of their particular, sector of duty being spoken about. These are the things that have been added to the film, but does that actually make it more creative, make it a little more innovative? Honestly, I don't think so.
Yes, I would actually call it like lost opportunity, because when I've heard the movie had all potential to be a Dunkirk where we get to explore how the wars happen. Like there's a movie called Ghazi Attack, which is, though there are some portions, but overall the execution of how a mission is handled largely is communicated. So which is very interesting from a storyline point of view also. The soldier, other than his love for country or him being a typical mass hero, the strategy, the technique, how are they trying to chase enemies, how are they trying to overpower them with their strategy. So that is where the game is, right? Maybe it is visual effects, giving them the benefit of doubt. What could be the reason why they trimmed the portions? Because it seems like they had a lot of material. It might be a pet peeve or it might be something that I am very particular about, but considering international cinema or Indian cinema, yeah, emotions work, emotions are good, all of that is great. But when it is war, what is that he is offering with his skill set, whether it is on ground with his skill or whether it is the skill, how is he contributing, what is the interesting part, how is he changing the dynamics? Those are the real deal breakers for me. Like if you take this example scene from Bahubali 1, there is that's why I really appreciate Rajamouli, right? It's a war sequence, like a close to 40 to 50 minutes war sequence in the climax. But the pre-climax, there is a scene where they are discussing strategy. What is right? How many of the soldiers this side? How many that side? How many? What is it? What should be the right strategy? You get the point, right? So this is where you get to actually appreciate the smartness of a soldier. So with Uri also, the tactics, the way they handle it, the way they stage it, everything that is really, really important, because that is what makes war films more interesting, at least in 2026. Because think about it. We've seen 120 Bahadur in November, 21 January. Now we are seeing Border. So literally every month we have a release. So we have been watching this movie. So what new in terms of skill, war strategy, technique, or presentation? It is very important, as what I feel. I think Border 2 in that aspect largely is underwhelming, and it didn't work for me. It feels like a bunch of things happening where the emotional portions where it'll hit the audience, it'll make audience cries, those portions are there. The lead ups are definitely not there, especially Ahan Shetty's portions and Diljit portions. I think they really suffered because of this problem.
The name drops that he just had, 120 Bahadur, Durandar, 21. Yes, Durandar is not a war film, but it is somewhere on the lines of, the patriotic / nationalistic films, right? Why did Durandar work and not the other two? Is it because they didn't have the material? No, because both these other films also have really good ideas that they're talking about. But somewhere in the presentation and the performance, it became a little too, towards not completely a Border 2 where it is a mass, war action film. And neither is it a Durandar where it is quite niche and, it is getting into the gritty. It is stuck somewhere in between where you get a punch dialogue, but it is not fully committed to that. You get, a planning sequence, what is happening, why is this so crucial, why is this particular point so crucial. There's explanation, but there is no total commitment to that. With Border 2, I feel like the content had so much potential that it could have been Dunkirk. This is where I integrate a question and not really a demerit for the film, which is because the mass is working so well with the masses. I am putting a question here. Shouldn't it have been somewhere in the range of Dunkirk with the material it had, rather than going for a very normal, comfortable mass approach for the film? And when you think about it, the reported budget of the film is well over, 150 crores, somewhere close to 175 crores. And when there is that amount of budget, and, with a naive assumption that not a major chunk of the budget would have gone for the actors' fees, and all the actors would have done their contribution towards the film and not be like eating away from a major chunk of the budget, where did all the budget go? Is it really that a lot of the budget went into the practical stunts when it comes to the army and its execution? Why did it not have even, the level of CG that a fighter or a Skyforce would have? Because while those films, fighter or even a Skyforce in that matter, because those films were heavily dependent on the, aerial action,
visual effects.
Yeah, but this one, only a part of it needed that, and does it also take that amount of budget to execute it well?
A fairly
is a
decent
question.
one. We are not see, Top Gun Maverick is the benchmark, is not what we are trying to say, but a fairly decent one can definitely be expected, is what I would say. Also, credit where credit is due. Firstly, I think the emotional scenes, right, though they are typical, though they are some things that you've watched in Border only, though the family angles, everything, they land. That's a magic of cinema. I don't know, it's magic of nostalgia, or is it it's my favorite. I don't want to give much spoilers, but it is about how the soldiers get to know, one of them get to know about mother, and one of them get to know about daughter, and that scene really lands emotionally. It'll crush you. So there are a lot of good moments like that, though repetitive again. Those moments really land, which is why you are able to sit through 3.5 hours of the duration, because the film largely satisfies in terms of emotional quotient.
Yeah, I also feel that the action in the film is where the dynamism happens, and that too adds a lot. Like I said, this film is not very different from Border. Border 2, some people would love it for the song, some people would love it for the emotional aspects, the relationships, and the camaraderie between all the soldiers or whatnot. And some people might like it for its action, the whole war action epic where people are shooting, there's guns, there's trenches, and all of that. And this film also has all the elements. I feel like whoever enjoyed Border, whoever loves Border, will also have a certain love for Border 2 as well. And I feel like that is what is happening here. That is what I enjoyed. If he says it is the emotional impact, for me it is the action in the film. Subjective elements, and it is catering to a lot of people. It is in a way quite wholesome, and I feel like Border 2 also aces in that particular factor where it caters to a significant chunk of the audience in India.
The integration of nostalgia, it is not, see, a lot of people might think nostalgia baiting as a thing, a lot of movies are trying to aim that, but with Border 2, what I really liked is how they've integrated some moments where the connection is with Border 1. Some of them might seem exactly, they tried to emulate the emotional values. Some of them were a very smart callbacks to the previous version.
Yeah, the recreation. For example, there is this other scene where in Border, the iconic Sunny Deol scene where he has his monologue about how soldiers are sacrificing a lot of things to be there to safeguard the country while taking a case of Mathura Das. That poor soul was so happy he got his leave. But at the end of the day, in that particular monologue, there are instances where he speaks about a soldier is keeping his mother's ashes waiting while he's safeguarding his country, the other mother.
Yeah.
Or how a soldier's daughter is still waiting to embrace her father
For the
because
first
the
time.
soldier is there. All these stories which went as a dialogue have been transformed to a story arc in the second part.
Correct.
Not the major probably, but it is still a part of the story, and through that they are building more emotional connections towards all the side actors. It is like in the first part we had our Ratan Singhs and all, who aren't your central figures, who aren't your key figures, but you kind of get emotionally attached to that. Similarly here too, with that one little letter scene, while there are a few other scenes from the top where it is all funny and jokes and whatnot.
Yeah.
By the end, with that one particular scene, you build that emotional connect, and I felt like it was a very smart integration of building a connection between the two films through that one little thread.
Also, the bonding, the initial stretch of the film, especially the first half, was really, bro, I didn't expect the film to be this good kind of vibe the movie has given me because of the bonding that they were trying to establish.
If you look at it, first similarity is Sunny Deol. But there's a lot of other similarities in the film. The screenplay structure, first of all, is very Border. It isn't different at all. Starts off with an action sequence, then moves into establishing characters. All characters get established one by one. Then
Families get established.
Yeah, families get established.
Breadcrumbs dropping.
Then war is established. So then the personal where everybody is pulled back.
Yeah.
There's a couple of songs which is remixed also.
Yeah.
So from there we get to the action. There is one level of action and that ends, and then the other level of action. So the screenplay structure is very similar. There are few things added here and there, but that is the first similarity. You don't really feel like you're watching something new. You don't really feel like you're watching something that is 3 decades apart.
Yeah.
You feel like you're watching the same thing. Similarly, the importance of emotional storytelling. First scene itself is a homage to Border.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that just is border. These similarities from an entertainment perspective does give you that. The callback value is there, the emotional value, emotional connect is already there, which is why we spoke so much about nostalgia. But at the same time, what is new, what is unique 3 decades later?
All the good things about Border are the same things that kind of worked in Border 2, but other things which are not Border are the things where the film falls flat.
Or even Ahan Shetty also saying Ma Shakti, just like Sunil Shetty from the film. It had to be said. Sunil Shetty's Ma Shakti is an iconic pop culture reference.
Overall, like we mentioned, whether it is the CG issues, whether it is too much banking on nostalgia and emotion, and whether it is not able to try something different from what they have tried 30 years ago, the lost potential of what this movie could have possibly become. All these reasons I felt are very, very important to be talked about. And also another important question, we are nobody to tell we are better audience, you're better audience, or they see audience, different type of people exist, different kind of expectations, experience, sentiments, all of that is given. We are not trying to put one above the other. Important question what I wanted to make with Border 2's discussion video is, after 30 years, other than nostalgia, other than similar beats, other than the same emotional dialogue bazi, can't we expect something more, something creative, something which is what should have been produced in 2026 for a film like this? Is it too much of an ask from the makers or anybody who's making such films, is my question.
Well, these are some questions that we are leaving with. A couple of more questions. The makers have announced that Border 3 is definitely on the cards. They are going to be, talking about it. They are going to try to make it, not immediately, but soon enough. Should all these questions be something on the maker's mind too? Mention that also.
Also, for the people who watch the film, the interval portion where he is talking, Sunny Deol's character is talking over phone. If you look at the trailer version, if you look at the film, maybe did they take the criticism that there is too much of dialogue basi and they reduce the sequence?
One amazing dialogue which reminds me of biryani and makes my mouth water.
Mention that also in the comment section below.
I am Sanjay Ponnappa.
And this is Maruthi Acharya.
You're watching India Today.